Hey everybody. Hey, just wanted to get on here briefly and I wanted to thank Todd and the Major League Bow Hunting Facebook page for sharing that there and for you guys getting on and viewing my last video and some of the others. Appreciate it. Share with your friends, get the word out there, and ask them to subscribe. And I ask you all to subscribe to the channel too. That way, maybe later on I can get some sponsorship. We can do some prize giveaways, things like that. Maybe broadheads or arrows or who knows what. So anyway, I want to thank you all for watching the harvest. I'm just a regular old guy like you all, and it's just some, little fun stuff that I'm going to do here. Kind of keeps me busy, keeps me entertained. Some stuff that I'm going to do and put on, share with you all. Maybe y'all pick up some things from me. Y'all can leave comments. Maybe I'll pick up some things from you guys. So anyway, just wanted to share some things with you here. You see right here, this is something I shared on the Facebook page last night, just a little workbench that I did. And I got some bows hanging up here. We got the Easy Green press. Gonna put a vise over here on the corner. Got some stuff going on here. See if I can show you a little closer what's going on. Just kind of arrange stuff a little bit better out here. Give me a little workstation to work on bows, do some tuning, just tinkering, I like to tinker with stuff. So anyway, but also I got some deer up here. See these up here? That first deer right there, it's one I took with a gun back in 1991, I believe it was. First decent deer that I really took. Showing my age there now. This deer right here is my daughter Allison's deer that she shot with a gun. I can't remember the year, but it was over here in front of the house in the horse pasture. And man, she put a good shot on that thing, dropped it in its tracks. That one right there in the middle, that was a deer that I killed back in the same place I killed the first deer. That was probably around 94, be my guess, 94, 95. Good, big, mature deer. Rattled that deer in along with a bunch of others that first 2.5 days of gun season. And killed him just ground hunting right there in the area's travel corridor. They traveled that area to and from bedding areas, checking on does, and so on. The next one over, that was a gun kill also back on that same hill, but about 200 yards from the others. And man, I can't remember what year that was, but anyway, saw that deer on opening day, couldn't get a crack at him. The following weekend, I saw him from the next hill over. I actually hiked all the way over across the creek, back up the other side, slipped in behind him and a doe, and they were still there at the edge of the wood line, and got a shot on him, dropped him. That last deer there, that's just a deer that, good long tines, deer that I killed back in here behind the house during the gun season. Just some other stuff got going on there. You see some European mounts, things like that I've got scattered there. Just show you some better deer over here. Right there you see my elk, of course, I got last year. That's a European mount I did on him. Right here, Ohio buck. Best Ohio buck I've killed. I've killed 2 good ones up there at my buddy Mark's. This was a gun kill. There we go, a little bit better view. Still learning this selfie stick, y'all. But that's a straight 8-point that grosses. He likes, I think it's like, he likes 3/8 of an inch being 150 gross. So that shows how big he is. Just a stud of a deer. Got up there on a Wednesday. I kicked out of work early that day. Got done, drove up there Wednesday afternoon, got in a stand. Gun season there. I was in the stand for maybe 30, 45 minutes, and he comes across the old power line, pushes a little young doe out of there, and I shoot him with a muzzleloader at about 125, 30 yards. And just really proud of that deer. Just, it's one of my favorites right there. There's my old turkey. Got a bunch of clutter on top of the fridge, but four-bearded Tom right there. That's turkey hunting's my passion. So we'll do plenty of that stuff come spring. Right here, it's a homegrown deer right here, full velvet. As you know, here in Kentucky, we can hunt the first Saturday of September. That's when our season comes in. Killed this deer on opening day that year. I think it was 2012, and had a lot of pictures of this deer. Had pictures of him middle of the day. And of course, we're allowed to feed corn here and hunt over bait. So, you know, that's just part of it. And it's a legal means of harvesting deer. So a lot of us, you know, if you're not hunting that way, your neighbor is. So you better get with the program. But had a lot of pictures of him in the middle of the day. So I knew he was bedding real close. And I was going to have to really be careful getting in there into the stand that first afternoon. But I knew I was going to have a real good shot at him. And again, that's one of those situations. Right after a rain, it was about 45 minutes to an hour in the stand, and he come in. It was 21 yards, and I smoked him, and he went about 60 yards and fell over. So, and I actually mounted. I do my own taxidermy on the side, so, and have done some commercial stuff in the past, but not anymore. But I mounted the 8-pointer there. I mounted this deer here, and then this deer over here is kind of my pride and joy. You see the big flower point on him. I call him the back scratcher buck. Killed him out of the same stand as the velvet buck. I killed this one here in 2011. Had 3 years of pictures of this deer. Hunted him for 3 years, never laid eyes on him until that third year, which I believe he was 5.5. Maybe he could have been 6.5. But at the year before, he was a ghost. I mean, just a ghost. I bet I had 1,000 pictures of him and never got to lay eyes on him. But I think what he was doing, I think he was patterning me better than I was patterning him. And so he knew, I think he was bedding so close that he knew when I was coming into the stand, and he knew when I would come in on the Ranger and I'd fill the feeder and all that kind of stuff. And he could hear me when I left the house here. That's how close it is. So I changed things up that third year on how I approached him and how I went to get into the stand. And my third time into the stand, I killed him, shot him that evening. It didn't even go track him until the next morning, because I shot him, he was quartering away real hard. And when I aimed at like the last rib on him on his left side, and it went down into him, and I hit that offside shoulder, and I knew I did not have an exit wound. So knew he was not gonna bleed out well and was not gonna be easy to track. So I backed out of there and I left him for the night, which was a sleepless night. And went in. We still had no blood the next morning. I got a friend of mine to help track the next morning. Found one little speck of blood, but we didn't have anything to go off of as far as a blood trail. And I went to grid searching down that hillside, the direction he went, and I found him in the creek bottom about 200 yards away. And he fell dead there that night before, but I couldn't hear him fall from where I was. But he grossed 157 inches. The velvet buck, he grossed 153. And as I told you, the 8-pointer, the straight 8 from Ohio, was almost 150. But these two right here are both bow kills. Talking about that shot angle, and that's something that I've really tried to stress to people, especially since I've started tracking deer with my dog. I see so many times, especially during bow season, that people say, oh, well, I hit him right behind the shoulder, right behind the shoulder. Well, was that deer broadside or was he quartering away? Because if he's quartering away very hard at all and you aim right behind the shoulder on your side, you've got the potential to shoot in front of the vitals, okay? Or maybe get part of one lung. But even part of one lung, a deer can go a long ways. So that's just something I want to stress to you. You got a quartering away deer, a good rule of thumb is always aim for the offside shoulder. That's what I do. I'm not saying that's right, but it's been effective for me. So if you always shoot for that offside shoulder, you're going to go right through those vitals. like that 157 right there, that flower buck. I actually put it in behind the last rib on him and hit the offside shoulder with a 100-grain muzzy broadhead. And it sounded like a rifle going off when he hit that offside shoulder. So I knew it was going to be a dead deer. I just didn't know how far he was going to go. And shots like that, you just got to give them time. Excuse me. So think about that. And, don't flirt with that shoulder too much either, because we get a lot of calls. Those of us that track, we get a lot of calls that, hey, I think I hit right behind the shoulder, man. I smoked him. Well, no, if you smoked him, he'd been laying within 100 yards dead, right? You wouldn't need us. But we get there, and then we look at the penetration on the arrow and on the broadhead, and it's maybe about that much, 2.5, 3 inches, blood up on the arrow, and that's it. And the arrow falls out. And a lot of deer get shoulder shot. Okay, it hits that hard bone, it hits that hard shoulder. It's just not going to penetrate well unless you're shooting some heavy poundage with a heavy arrow and a good cut on contact broadhead. Now, I know a lot of you shoot mechanicals, and I'll shoot mechanicals on certain things too. Like if sometimes if I'm out and I want to shoot a doe, I just got a broadhead I want to shoot a mechanical. Yeah, fine, I'll shoot that. Turkeys, I shoot mechanicals on turkeys. Bigger, wider cut. But my everyday broadhead that I go to is a cut on contact, fixed blade broadhead that I know is gonna go through some bone if I'm off a little bit, okay? But if I'm gonna be off, I actually wanna be off further back behind that shoulder. If you gut shot that deer, hit him in the intestines, stomach, whatever, you let that deer go, you let that deer bed down, leave it alone, don't push it. We go back in there 10, 12 hours later with a dog, we track that deer up. More than likely that deer's gonna be laying there. It's gonna be laying there dead, or it's gonna be in the second bed, and unless coyotes have got on it and found it and have pushed that deer, but it's gonna be a dead deer. You shoulder shoot that deer, more than likely it's not gonna be a dead deer. I've seen it too much here in just the last 2 years, which I've been going on more tracks. So just wanted to share that with you, give you a little advice on that. And like I said, if I'm going to be off anywhere, it's going to be further back behind that shoulder. And if I've got a deer quartering to me, then it depends on how much it's quartering to me. If it's quartering very hard at all, I'm not going to take that shot. I'm going to wait till I get it broadside or quartering away, okay? Because if it's quartering to you, you've really got to hug that shoulder so tight to hit vitals. And of course, yeah, you can put it through the stomach, through the guts, and let it go, and we'll go back the next day and track it up. That's fine. But besides that, you got to hug that shoulder so tight that there's just very minimal margin for error right there, that it's just not a high percentage shot, as you all know. So anyway, just wanted to share that bit of information with you, and good luck to all of you this season. Things are starting to kick in and get prime right now. More daylight movement from a lot of my friends and from what I'm seeing on camera. Get out there with your mock scrapes, put cameras on them. If you can find a big hub scrape, community scrape, something like that, get a camera on that, watch that, see what's going on. Throw some scent in there, okay? Some estrus scent. Throw some dominant buck urine in there also. Get those other bucks ticked off. And where they're going to be coming around, they're going to be checking that more frequently. And spend time out there. It's coming up. And I think November 2nd is probably when I'm really going to get excited about hunting and spending a lot more hours in the stand. And then, so from November 2nd, that's one of my favorite dates, and then November 7th is one of my favorite dates also here in Kentucky. So those two right there, I'm gonna try to sit all day in a stand somewhere. I might sit one stand in the morning, a different stand in the afternoon. All just kind of depends on what I'm seeing on cameras and what kind of response I'm getting as far as calling, rattling, things like that. Don't be afraid to crash them horns together, okay? These bucks are out, they're competing. They're gonna be looking for them does. They're gonna be competing with one another. They think another buck's moved into their area, that he's a big bad boy, they're gonna try to run him off. And that's, if you rattle and you run the little ones off, so be it. I'm not gonna shoot them anyway. I want that one that's the big dominant ruler of the woods. I want him coming in to defend his territory and try to run me off when I crack him horns together. So anyway, and I know they're antlers, but hey, some of us rednecks, we call them horns too, right? So anyway, just wanted to get on here and do a little bit, and hopefully here in the next week or two, I'll be doing more pieces and put on here, and I'll try to make them shorter than this. This is over 15 minutes already. So anyway, hey, be safe out there. Good luck to you all. And always wear your harness when you're getting up off the ground. Use a lifeline all the way up and down the tree. Stay safety in. You got loved ones to go home to, and they want to see you back home. So enjoy your time out hunting. Good luck to all of you. Post some pictures when you get them on the Major League Bow Hunting Facebook page, and go listen to the Backwoods Bow Hunter podcast with Tim and Mike. Go listen to them nuts. Give them guys a hard time. So leave some comments for them. Anyway, thanks for watching. Share this with your buddies, and get them to subscribe too. So thanks for watching The Harvest, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.